This is a note to future me, dated podcast publishing date. As I mentioned in my very first note to future me, I occasionally will be getting things off my chest. And this is one that's been kind of bouncing around in my head for a while. And it'll be a bit of a rant. Not quite understanding podcasters making comments in Facebook groups and asking and looking for the cheapest way to podcast. Now, I don't know what kind of equipment they've already invested in themselves, but then when it comes down to a podcast hosting platform or the best place, the cheapest place to put your podcasts, it's always a SoundCloud situation or archives.org. But they always call it a hobby. I don't want to put too much money into my hobby. This is a hobby. Why should I be spending money? I've never known any hobby. I've never had a hobby that did not cost a bit of money to partake in. And the least of it is when you are, getting into podcasting and taking a look at all the expenses that will incur with this hobby, if that's what you consider it. Going with a podcast hosting platform is minimal compared to even investing in a mic and recording, where you have a lot of other free opportunities of recording it on your laptop with a free software, Audacity to edit, free Auphonic that will levelize it and normalize it for 2 hours free per month. Find the coffee change to host with a decent podcast platform, as in Spreaker, Blueberry, Libsyn, Podbean, whoever it might be. But this option and everybody believing in putting it in SoundCloud, putting it into archive.org drives me crazy. Why would you put all that effort into recording a podcast? Again, maybe for your own pleasure, but you're doing it for a reason, to have fun, to get something off your mind, to inform, to entertain. Why would you let a free platform like even Anchor now take all the control of your work and take it down whenever they want, honestly? Or not allow you to see how popular you've become because it's behind their veil of, well, it's free. Doesn't mean that we get to show you everything that's going on how people are listening to your podcast. It just amazes me how cheap people can be. A hobby costs money, and sometimes you have to prioritize where you spend your dollars. And one place to spend them is a secure podcast hosting platform. Like I mentioned earlier, it doesn't matter which one you pick, but pick one that you control the audio, and you'll feel secure that at least if you need to change or you just want to stop and you want to continue to have that audio in some fashion, maybe you didn't back it up on a drive or something, that it's yours for whatever reason. Could be for your kids or grandkids. Who knows? But like I said, it just simply amazes me how cheap podcasters can be in regards to looking at this as they consider it a hobby, but they don't want to put money into it. Tell me a hobby that doesn't cost you some money and where you might spend it the correct way. Anyway, glad you're taking notes with me. This is a note to future me.